Hello folks, it has been quite a few months since my first video, and that's because things have not went as well as I would have hoped. I managed to play 4 or 5 times since the initial video, and then things got a little bit tougher. This is due to various things like weather or the courts being fully booked out. When the summer kicked off, it quickly went up into the mid-30s, upper 30s, or even the 40s, and that's just a little bit too hot for my wife, who had been helping me train up until that point. Following that, there was a tournament at the venue, so the courts were fully booked across two weekends. And then I went on holiday abroad, and when I came back from the holiday, it was thunderstorm season, and so we had 2 or 3 weeks of just rain and thunderstorms, um, and that was also along with the high temperature, so it was crazy humid and super wet, just not ideal for playing tennis. So as of now, I've not been playing for quite a few months now, and that's not exactly ideal for the get back into tennis sort of videos that I'm trying to do here. But nevertheless, I'll try to keep going and I'll try to get more sessions in. Anyway, let's get on with the footage. We'll start with the forehand. The swing didn't feel too bad overall, but I can definitely feel that I'm not hitting the centre as much as I'd like. Quite a few off-centre shots, and I'll play a few slow-mo clips just to show you that. One thing I felt that was the most awkward was my ability to perceive the depth and the angle and speed of the ball. It's just not there. I found myself in the wrong position and swinging at the wrong place so many times, having to tighten up or trying to stretch out to reach the ball, which is obviously far from ideal. Another thing is footwork. The footwork is so sloppy and so slow, and these two things obviously work together and just create this horrible clunky feeling in the moment. And that being said, I was still able to hit quite a lot of clean shots, as you can see from the stills I'll put up on the screen. And something you can also notice in these stills is the sort of position, the sort of momentum is a little bit off. That's caused by obviously the footwork and the perception being off, as I just previously talked about. So that's something I really need to work on, because it really screws up your whole shot if you're not in the right position to hit it. I'll show a few more slow-mo clips before moving on. And you can see here, and that I was not happy at the time either. Look at that face. It says everything. Anyway, here's another angle of the forehand, albeit an awful one and an awful performance to match, but at least the whole court is in view here. I only took a single clip from that angle, so let's move on to the next one. This will give a better idea of the ball trajectory. It is a little bit short and lacking in power for my tastes, but that could be all sorts of things. It might even be the training balls, which feel very heavy and very dead, especially after being used for quite a while now. That, or it's just my imagination trying to find excuses for myself. But I did play with pressurized balls one time throughout these sessions, and it immediately felt 100 times better. And there was more spin, more pop, just easier to control, it just felt much nicer. So that, or I just need to get better. The stiffness in my wrist is somewhat visible here. I'm not getting a good trajectory on contact, as well as not enough looseness in the wrist. Or maybe you can't see me at all due to the horrific camera angle. Here are a few slow-mo clips before moving on to the backhand. the backhand side has always been tougher in every way compared to the backhand for me. And it's also far more exhausting, I find. And you can see the stiffness through in my motion throughout all of these clips here, and many of the same issues that I have with my forehand persist here as well. To my surprise, you can see from some of these stills that I was actually managing to hit the backhand fairly cleanly here. But the distance judgment is still something that I am struggling with. I have noticed as well that my racket head angle seems to be not so good on the backhand quite a lot of times, so I need to try and work on that too. You can see here some of the post-contact shots that the angle is just really far off. It doesn't happen every time though, so hopefully it's something that I can fix pretty easily. Here are a few slow-mo clips from this angle. And now let's move on to the next one. Sorry that this one is awful too. At least we can see the trajectory of the ball here. Same with the forehand clips. My movement is pretty lazy, but one thing I really need to work on is getting a little bit more spin and a little bit more control on my backhand swing. I really need to work on my tendency to pull away on the backhand side. I kind of pull away and back sometimes. I need to be pushing forward into the shot more often. Here are a few more slow-mo shots. Now, on to the fun one, my service. My service is still really bad and needs a lot of work, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'll let you guys see it anyway. As you can see, the consistency is absolutely diabolical and I can barely even hit the ball properly. And here are a few slow-mos as the cherry on top. Some of these aren't that bad, but they're still not anywhere close where it needs to be. Well, at least I got to play some, even if it's not as much as I would like. I have more footage from the following sessions, which I will upload later, but this video is already quite long, so I'm going to leave them out of this one. I hope that I can get back on the court soon and train a lot more, but until then I will try my best to get a little bit fitter in other ways while I can't be on the court. Anyway, thanks for watching. Until next time.